So in this video, I'm going to talk through really the expectations around your e-commerce business. No matter what stage you're at, whether it's just your first $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, it doesn't actually matter. This is important to understand at every aspect of your business, and understanding it will actually ensure that you remain profitable. First and foremost, that we're actually making more money than we're spending, especially when you're going quite aggressive on ads at whatever level you're at. And also that we can actually have a lot more, I'd say, resilience and persistence around the natural market factors of business and especially e-commerce. Okay, so this is something that came up in my paid community a couple of days ago, my Ecom Blueprint and Up-Level Mastermind, where we help ecom brands scale to their first 10K all the way up to 50 and 100K per month. And it was really planning for 2026. So what to expect in 2026. And it basically started out the discussion of when should I be scaling ads? What should I be doing over, December, January? And this was really my answer. So I want to share that with you. January and February, typically when it comes to retail, right? And that includes obviously e-commerce, online retail, is almost different stratospheres for a lot of brands as November, December, that back end of the year. So probably from September to December. It's a completely different period of time, almost a different world. All right. Now, this isn't across the board. I mean, health industry, Karmic Cold Pressed Juice, the company I co-founded in 2013, January is a great month because everyone's getting back into the health resets and all that sort of stuff, gyms, all that sort of stuff. It's great in health and wellness, of course. But typically, I'd say 80% of brands will go quiet in January and need to build back up into February, March towards Easter, etc. Okay. So then the discussion went in the direction of what are the expectations then? Like, when do you have high-low months? What should you do in those high-low months? And that's quite a broader discussion than this video today, but I want to hopefully help you understand the expectations again so we can make revenues when, we need to make revenues, and also keep profit as those quieter months actually, transpire. And this is something I've learned over those 13 years in e-commerce, and especially as you get more seasoned and you go through a couple of cycles with your e-commerce business, is the expectations around that. So in the beginning, when you start your e-commerce business, you do want to see on-month growth. Like, you do want to see things go. Now, you will still see fluctuations, okay, based on the size of your audience, based on seasonality, based on the time of year, type of product. There's a lot of variables. But after, say, it's like a 12-month period, maybe 2-year period, you can actually start to compare, or it's more important to compare what would say year-on-year growth. Okay, so January this year to January last year, December this year to December last year, November, etc. Because it's not actually fair on your business to be comparing, a heavy Black Friday campaign November rolling into December. Sure, you're going to have some sales, but towards the end of the month, like sometimes you almost have like a half a month in December because of the shipping constraints and obviously Christmas and all the distractions beyond that. So it's not apples with apples. Same thing with November or December and rolling into January. It's a half month. It's also a very slow month because, people put their wallets away. So knowing what's normal is really, really important to manage your own emotions for a start, but also your marketing efforts, particularly the paid advertising. Okay. So where this discussion went with the paid advertising was basically like, when should I scale? This client in particular just came off a really good Black Friday campaign. They'd hit about 35K a month off the back of like a 10K month, the previous month. And they were cashed up and they were excited to scale. So I basically just had to tell them, look, we have to hold our horses. Okay, yes, you can start to increase spend through December, but know your limits in the sense of when is your shipping cutoff, meaning when are people going to stop buying? When is your fresh shipping cutoff? Okay, when are you going to stop actually shipping? And then, of course, what's the expectation around, gift cards and other purchases, beyond that? Then what are you doing for Boxing Day and during that New Year period, which is another chance to extract some revenue? But honestly, that's probably going to come from a lot of the email databasing anyway that you're doing in the organic social. So then if you've got those cutoffs, it really does restrict or increase the risk that you'll be spending money unnecessarily or unprofitably. And again, just touching on what I mentioned before, it's the same thing in January, right? If you're even away, like if you're taking time off, of course, our business is open 24/7. That's why we love e-commerce. But if your attention to detail and your checking in with the business and your numbers, etc., is not in line with what it needs to be, like if you're not on top of your numbers, there's a really quick way to blow cash, and that's it. Right, trying to scale when your attention to detail is not there. Now, that's not your fault by any means. It's just a timing thing. Market factors, your factors, right? Personal factors, let's call it. So then how do you maintain profitability? Well, it's basically about definitely keeping the lights on, continue to spend. We don't want the algorithm to assume that you've gone away and not going to spend again, because it will take a long time to build that back up. And it's the same thing with your organic efforts. We don't want your customers to just never see you for not see you for like another 4 to 6 weeks. We need to have our plan in place for end of December and January and roll into February as well. As I say, basically you should plan out the next quarter for 2026. So that basically looks like, I would say, peaking obviously in the December period, making sure we're making the best of the opportunity to get people to buy for Christmas, standard shipping, express shipping, and also Boxing Day. You should have an offer that's around 2 to 3 days at the least, right? You can do more than that. You can actually do all the way to New Year's Eve or New Year's Day sometimes. And then what are you doing? What have you got scheduled in terms of campaigns, organics, and of course ads as well when it comes to that period of time, right? We need to start ramping things as quickly as possible, because the longer you take off, the longer you're out of, let's call it the game, right? And not focused on marketing, the longer it's going to take for you to build back up. So your expectations need to be in accordance. You can't expect this, but perform activities based on this. Right? There's a gap there. So you've either got to do the work and have the expectation here, or don't do the work and have the expectation here. I know what I would prefer. And that's what we're preparing our clients for, obviously, on this hand side, where yes, plan to have a break, plan to have time off, but you need to be so prepared that you know exactly what you're doing. You can hit the ground running in 2026. So scheduling and even just literally planning it and understanding what you should be doing as soon as you sit down back at your desk, whether it's the 1st of Jan, the 10th of Jan, the 15th of Jan, everyone's got their own personal circumstance. But you know exactly what you're doing. You're not spending a week or 2 burnt trying to be like, what am I actually doing? Right? That's what a lot of people go through if they don't have a plan. So you will reap the rewards. You'll receive dividends from your business if you know what the next month to 2 months actually looks like. Literally down to the day, right? We use something called a war map calendar where we can map out our daily activities. It might sound granular, but that's what's required, because above granular is general and above general is just fluff. Like we just have this idea of what we're doing and we probably unlikely that we're actually going to execute it. Okay, so those 3 layers is really important to understand. So that's what I'd say for you. If you're in the boat of, I'm not sure what I'm even doing next year, don't avoid it. Don't procrastinate. Don't put it on the back burner and think it's going to work out, because it either won't or you'll just be late to the party. You could have started the weeks earlier just by knowing what you're actually doing. You would have maintained the momentum over a break if you're taking one. But don't forget, our shops are 24/7. They don't require a break. That's why we're in e-commerce. You can't have your cake and eat it too when it comes to, I want a business that runs itself and is running 24/7 and I want to take time off because that's what the 9-to-5ers do. You can't have it both ways, all right? Not at least in the beginning, okay? So that's an expectation setting thing, a mind setting thing that's really required, and took me a while to, I guess, be comfortable with because of outside external sources of people that were doing 9-to-5s and even partners and spouses and family members that were doing the 9-to-5. What's normal is normal, but we are not normal. We are abnormal as entrepreneurs, okay? So that's what I just wanted to explain. There is money to be made over this break period and momentum to be built so that you can come back bigger and stronger. It's going to be a slingshot of 1 step back to 2 steps forwards. But in a greater, broader picture, firstly, having the expectation, the understanding that, sure, January most likely is going to be quieter, right? You're probably not going to get the same growth that you had from September, October, November, December into January and February. It's just natural, right? So what do we do there? We pull back where we need to pull back, but we also play on being in the game still through organic and paid means and working on things such as building the database, building the sphere of influence, as I call it, so that we can give ourselves the best opportunity to just go and harvest straight away. As soon as mid-Jan, end of Jan comes away, we should be making sales. We should be getting back to, normality. And again, we should be comparing the January to January numbers. And typically what I say to my clients doing, say, less than 20K per month is that we should be looking at year-on-year growth of at least 100%. Okay, doubling sales is what I'm saying, because of this new activity, this new perspective that we should be adopting with our strategy. All right. So look, I hope that opens up the perspective for you, gives you some motivation, inspiration to get things done pre-Christmas, pre-New Year's, pre-January, so that we can hit the ground running and maximize optimize the amount of sales whilst obviously maximizing profitability. Okay. Don't go too aggressive. Don't try and scale in January just because you're cashed up and you've had a good end of 2025. All right. And the timing actually needs to be right. And we need to watch our numbers like a hawk. Okay. Focus on the year-on-year growth. That will maintain the profitability for you. Okay. So look, I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, I'd love a like. I'd love a subscribe. If you want to know more about what we do and how we help ecom brands, you can click on the link below, check it out. But other than that, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching till the end, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.